Guys, a quick yes in the chat box. You can hear me loudly and clearly. All right, thanks, Rishabh. Thanks, Sujit. All right, as I can see, there are a couple of more students waiting in the queue. So let's wait for them to join and then we'll start over today's session. In the meanwhile, I would request all of you to please put in your profile details in the chat box so that I can get to understand my audience for today. And I'll be doing a live profile analysis session today where I'll go through your academics and your uh, target-based schools. And accordingly, I'm going to check that whether your academics and your profile matches your target-based schools or not. And I'll provide you with customized recommendations based on the kind of uh, colleges, the kind of programs that you can look up to. So you can please post in your 10th, 12th, undergrad, and number of years of work experience. And if you have taken GMAT or a GRE test, along with your list of target schools or target country, wherever you want to apply. So please put it in the chat box and we'll do a live profile analysis session.
Deepak.
All right, it's 5:03. So let's begin today's session. So good evening, everyone. This is your host, Deepak Agrawal, and I'm an MBA mentor at Career Launcher, and I mentor and train students to get into some of the top universities abroad. Every year, we have numerous applicants who apply for some of the best universities in India and abroad, predominantly the Ivy League schools and the M7 schools that everybody dreams of. And our success has spread across the top schools in US, in Singapore, in Europe, in UK, in Australia, in Canada, and the other parts of the world. So every year we have students who join the top universities like Stanford, MIT, Columbia, Yale, LBS, HEC Paris, INSEAD, and all the top Indian schools like ISB, IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, all the top schools that everybody wants to get into. So I'll be walking you through the entire MBA landscape uh, in the Indian context as well as in the global context. And I'll be talking and discussing about the different programs offered in the management education spectrum and how these programs are different from one another and what exactly a student would have to consider while choosing the right program. So I'll discuss all of these aspects quite in detail, and it will be followed by uh, a complete presentation on how you can apply for the universities, what are the steps, and what are the key elements in the profile, and how exactly you can work out on your essays, your SOPs, and your letter of recommendations, and what would be the timeline in order to apply for some of the best universities in India and abroad. All right, so I would turn off my camera, and I want all of you to please put your complete attention on the presentation and keep your mics on mute. If you have any questions, so please feel free to post it in the chat box, and I'll take all of your questions and the queries at the end. All right, so let's begin. All right, so let's understand the agenda for today. So I'll be discussing the management education spectrum and the different management programs. What are the differences? And a lot of students, they have these queries like how an MBA different from an MIM, or how an executive MBA is different from an MBA. And like, obviously everybody thinks of that a distance MBA or an online MBA or a part-time MBA or an executive MBA. All of these programs are same, but these programs are very, very different from one another. So I'll be discussing all of these programs quite in detail, and I'll discuss the admission parameters, like what it takes to get into some of the top universities abroad. And I'll discuss a step-by-step approach for securing admissions to the top universities. All right, so let's begin with the management education spectrum. So as you can see on the screen, there are 6 different programs offered to the students who are at a different career stage. So if a student who is currently in the pre-final year, in the final year of the graduation, there is a program for that individual. If a student who has cleared the undergrad and now have maybe 6 months, 1 year, or up to 2 years of work, so then there is a program for that student. If the student has maybe 3 years, 4 years, 5 years and above of work experience, then there is a different program. And obviously, if the candidate has maybe 10 years or 15 years plus of work experience, so there is a different program altogether. So you'll have to decide between all of these programs based on your current career stage. And just to be honest with you, it is irrelevant to compare these programs because each program is meant for a category of student. It is not like that every student can apply for any of these programs. Every student would have one or two specific programs where he or she can apply. So let's discuss these programs quite in detail. So the first category is a deferred MBA program, which is specifically meant for the candidates who are in their pre-final year or in the final year of their graduation. Now, deferred MBA program provides you an option that you can apply at an early stage while pursuing your undergrad. University would see a potential in you if they find that potential. So based on that, they'll give you an admit. Once you have an admit, then you'll have to complete the minimum number of years of work experience. Once you complete that number of years of work experience, then you would be eligible to join the university. So that means you would have your admit with you in your undergraduation itself, but you would not be able to join the university until unless you complete the minimum number of years of work experience. Once you do that, so then you would be directly entering the class of the global MBA program. So do understand this. Deferred MBA is not a separate program. It is a route of getting into a global MBA program. For global MBA, generally students need a 2 years plus or a 3 years plus of work experience. But colleges like Harvard, Stanford, MIT, Columbia, Yale, Chicago Booth, you have Rice University, you have Yale Silver Scholars Program. So all of these universities, they offer a deferred MBA option so that a student can apply in the early stage of their career, and they have to complete a minimum number of years of work experience. Once they complete that, so then they can join the global MBA cohort at that particular university. All right. Second program is a postgraduate diploma program, which is specific to the Canadian context. So if you've heard of some of the schools like Seneca, Georgetown, Centennial, or Sheridan, all of these colleges, they offer a postgraduate program. These are autonomous institutes, and they offer a postgraduate diploma to the students who have either a 3 years bachelor's degree or a 4 years bachelor's degree. All right. Some of the Indian schools also, they offer this postgraduate diploma programs. You must have heard of a PGDM program. That is what it is. And it is specifically meant for the students who are maybe in their final year of their graduation or maybe who are recent graduates. All right. Third category is a Masters in Management, MIM, which is specifically meant for the candidates who have 0 to 2 years of work experience, where a student who might not have any work experience might be in the final year of their graduation, or maybe a candidate having 6 months, 1 year, 1.5 years, or up to 2 years of work experience. And that individual wants to establish a managerial skill set in the profile. All right. So someone who might not have any idea about business or business management, or maybe a person who has an idea, who comes from a BCom or a BB or an economics background, but now he or she wants to dwell deeper into managerial concepts. So that individual would go for a master's in management program. So some of the universities, they restrict students to apply for an MIM with a 2 years plus of work experience. So they would restrict the MIM admissions only for the students having 0 to 2 years of work experience. And obviously, I'll discuss the list of schools in my subsequent slide for an MIM. Fourth category is a global MBA, which is specifically meant for the candidate who is having more than 2 years of work experience and up to 8 to 10 years of work experience. Now, this global MBA program is specifically meant for those who want to hone their skills. So if someone who maybe brings in 3 years, 4 years, 5 years of work experience, now he or she wants to get into a program which would definitely give an idea of the other business functions. So for example, if someone who is a very good marketing executive, and now he wants to become a marketing manager. In order to become a marketing manager, you need not to only have the knowledge of marketing. You should also understand how marketing operates with finance, how marketing operates with HR, or how marketing operates with analytics, or how marketing operates with supply chain. So you would have that understanding of the different business functions, and you go deeper and deeper into the managerial concepts. So that program is known as a global MBA program, or in simpler terms, this is an MBA program in the global context. Fifth category is a executive MBA program, which is specifically meant for the candidates who have 8+ or 10+ years of work experience. Now, this program is generally a part-time program, and this program is specifically meant for the candidates who are already at a managerial position, but now they aspire to reach out to a senior managerial position in an organization, maybe to reach out to any CXO level of an organization, or there is someone who maybe is a marketing manager. Now he or she wants to become a CMO of an organization. All right. So someone who already brings in 10 years, 15 years of work experience might not be in that capacity to leave the job and to join a program full time. So that's why most of these universities, they offer this kind of a program as a part-time program. And they have an option of both, like someone who joins this program can attend the classes online, as well as they can attend a few classes or few lectures at the campus. All right, this is the kind of hybrid kind of a program what most of the universities offer. So just to take a few examples, for example, executive MBA offered by Harvard, or EMBA offered by UCLA, PGP Max or a PGP Pro offered by ISB, and a few uh, executive MBA programs offered by IIMs, but the part-time ones, not the full-time 1-year programs. All right. And a candidate who already has a higher work experience, now he or she wants to maybe upgrade or upskill themselves, would go for a program that is known as an advanced management program. So if someone who has maybe 15 years plus, 20 years plus, and who's already at a CXO level of an organization, and now he or she wants to explore what are the new advancements or what are the latest additions that are there in the business or in the industry that is going on. So that's why a lot of students, they prefer to go for this advanced management program. Again, these programs are short duration programs. These are not lengthy programs. These programs are again offered by some of the top universities like Harvard, MIT, Columbia, Yale, LBS, INSEAD, including IIMs, including ISB. These programs, they are generally for a duration of 6 to 8 months. And the core idea behind these programs is just to update or upskill yourself. All right. So these are the different category of programs. Now let me clear a few confusions here. So a few students who might not have any work experience or who are recent graduates, or maybe students who are currently pursuing their final year, they might be exploring an MBA program in India. They might be writing CAT or ZAT or NMAT or any other aptitude exam in India, and they're open for considering the options abroad. So a common mistake, what most of the students they do is that they compare Indian 2-year MBA with an MBA program outside India. But that is not the comparison between apples and apples. That is between apples and oranges. So if you were to compare any 2-year MBA program in India, so then it has to be a Masters in Management program, MIM. So any 2-year MBA program in India is equivalent to a Masters in Management program outside India, right? So this is I'm talking about for the students who specifically have 0 to 2 years of work experience and who are looking for the options in India as well as abroad. All right. Second confusion is that a lot of students, they see that in order to pursue an MBA program in India, it does not require any work experience. But in order to pursue an MBA outside India, so it requires a minimum number of years of work experience, which is true to some extent. But again, the comparison is not between apples and apples. So if you are comparing any global MBA program with an Indian program, so in that case, it has to be a 1-year full-time MBA program in India. All right. So students who have maybe 3+, 4+, 5+ years of work experience and up to 10 to 12 years of work experience, and if they're considering any of the options in India, so then they would be considering a 1-year MBA program offered by ISB or IIM Ahmedabad, Bangalore, Calcutta, Indore, Lucknow, Kozhikode, MDI, Auxiliary, SP Jain, all of these kind of colleges. They offer a 1-year full-time MBA. And mind you, this is a full-time program. This is not a part-time program. So do not get confused with this program with an executive MBA program abroad. Because in India, the same program is known as an executive MBA, but outside India, the program name is a global MBA. All right, I'll share the list and you definitely get to understand why I'm talking about this. So here's the list of top MIM programs. As you can see, HEC Paris, University of St. Gallen, London Business School, EACP, ESSEC, MBA, ESADE, SDA, Rotterdam. These are the top universities of the world which offers a Masters in Management program. And I would request all of you to be a little mindful while selecting the right program if you are filling up the form. So as you can see, the MIM program offered by University of St. Gallen is called as MA in Strategy and International Management. Okay, so it is not exactly a full form of MIM, but the program which is categorized under MIM. So if you are applying to University of St. Gallen for an MIM, so choose a program that is MA in Strategy and International Management. Similarly, like as you can see for ESADE, the program name is MSc in International Management. If you see a program offered by Stockholm, that is Master's Program in International Business. If you see a program offered by ESMT, the program is Masters in Global Management. So be a little mindful while filling up your application form so that you choose the right program. And you can refer Financial Times rankings and the right program name from that rankings. Okay, that is, and this is also an extract from the Financial Times website. Now this is the list of top MBA programs abroad. So as you can see, Stanford, Harvard, Wharton, HEC, LBS, MIT, IE, Columbia, INSEAD, IESE, UC Berkeley, Cambridge, Chicago, both. All of these are the top institutes and the top-notch B schools of the world. Most of these colleges you would find in the US. There are a few schools which are in Europe. And accordingly, based on your preferences, you can trim down the list and check your suitability for any of these colleges wherever you want to apply. And obviously, you can take a professional assistance And here at Career Launcher, we help students in shortlisting the best fit universities for them after considering various parameters. And I'll be discussing those parameters in my subsequent slides. Yeah, so here is the list of one-year full-time MBA program in India. As I can see in the chat box, there were a few students who have maybe 10 years, 12 years of work experience. So this is the right program just in case if you're applying for any of the programs in India. So as you can see, IIM Ahmedabad offers a program that is PGPX, which requires minimum 4 years of work experience. Similarly, IIM Calcutta requires minimum 5 years. ISB Hyderabad offers a PGP, which requires minimum 2 years of work ex. IIM Bangalore requires 5 years. IIM Lucknow, Indore, again 5 years. For Kozhikode, it's just 3 years. And similarly for SPJ and MDI, it is only 3 years of work experience, and the list goes on. All right. So if you're applying for any of the one-year full-time MBA programs in India, so here is the list, and definitely you'll have to check your profile suitability. And if you find that you are a suitable candidate for these programs, so do not wait, just go ahead and apply. All right. So let's move forward and understand, is it an MBA or an MIM? Like, what are the commonalities or what are the differences between these programs? So the first thing is, do not compare. Like, choose a degree based on your work experience or based on your background. It is irrelevant to compare between MIM and MBA because both of these programs are meant for different set of audiences. All right. Second is, the sooner you get into any of these programs, better would be your control over your profile and on your goals. So obviously, once you have decided to go for a management education, so it is better that you go for that program immediately. Some students they think of that, okay, I should be waiting and I should grab some job, I should gain some work experience, and then I should be looking out for an MBA. Or some students say that, okay, I've just graduated, let me work for 2 or 3 months, then I'll apply for an MIM. Some students who have maybe 1.5 years of work experience, they think that, okay, ek saal aur kar lete hain, and then let's apply for an MBA. But is it going to be right for you? Because you are losing out control on your profile. If you decide to go for a management program, so just think that what are the odds? Are the conditions favorable? And if yes, do not wait, just go ahead and apply for that program. All right, do not wait to gain more work experience or to add something more to your profile. That is not going to help you. All right, gain some work experience only if your job role aligns with your goal. So if you find that, okay, after completing my undergrad in software engineering or a CS program, I'm into a job which definitely aligns with my goals, which definitely provides me the right kind of exposure and networking, what it is required. So definitely stay in that job, progress well in your roles and responsibilities, gain some more work experience, and later in life, then apply for an MBA or an MIM. All right, but wait only if your job role aligns with your goal. Difficult to switch functional area and industry after 4 to 5 years of work ex. That is absolutely true. So I've seen numerous students who have completed their computer science program or a mechanical engineering program or maybe an economics program. They think that, okay, let's go ahead and work in the IT industry for nearly 4 years and 5 years and then look out for an MBA. It would be very, very difficult for you to switch your functional area at that point in time because you haven't studied management, you haven't experienced management, you have not worked in the business or the management space, like in terms of your roles and responsibilities. So obviously, once you are not aware of that domain, it would be really difficult for you to get out of your current domain. All right. So obviously, it becomes very, very difficult for the students who wish to switch their functional area or the industry. And it is not only about the work experience, it is always about the relevant work experience. All right. So if someone who is maybe working at State Bank of India with the same role, with the same job for years and years, so that is just going to add the number of years of work experience to your profile, but it would not contribute towards any impact that you would have created in your applications through your profile. All right. So you'll have to constantly grow, constantly progress in your roles, in your responsibilities, show some impact, and then only that work experience would count as a relevant work experience. And if you're in college, gain some work experience through internships or part-time work, some freelancing projects, and do not wait to get a job after a graduation. And you are well aware of the job conditions as of now. If you're from a tier one institute in India and if you have that opportunity available, definitely go for a job if your job role aligns with your goal. But if not, so do not wait for another 2 months, 3 months, maybe have a gap in your profile and then look out for either a job or maybe for a master's program. Take your decisions quick. Okay. Let's understand the application parameters. So I've categorized all the parameters into three different aspects. First is a standardized test where you'll have to appear for two different kind of exams. One would be an aptitude exam and second would be a language test. So in aptitude, you'll have to appear for an exam that is GMAT or a GRE. These are international exams. These are standardized exams and you can take these exams whenever you want. All right. There is no specific date to take GMAT or GRE. The exams are conducted daily. Barring US holidays, you can book these exams whenever you want. All right. And obviously, these exams are going to test you on verbal reasoning and quantitative reasoning, along with some statistical methods or statistical data. For example, tables, charts, diagrams, facts, and figures. Accordingly, they are going to test you. Second is the language testing, where you'll have to prove your English proficiency, where you would be tested on some essential English skills like reading, writing, speaking, and listening. So you have an option of taking either IELTS or a TOEFL. There are a few other exams also like PTE or Duolingo. So you can take any of these exams based on what the universities are asking for. Second would be academics, where your undergraduate score, your university, your course would play a very, very important role. So it is important that you should have an academically rich profile if in case if you're aiming for the top-notch institutes abroad. Third aspect is the profile. So profile means different components put together. For example, extracurriculars, which complements your co-curriculars. Both of these things complements the projects and internships, what you do, and how well you are able to progress in your roles and your responsibilities, any social initiative that you've taken up, your overall work experience, and a complete package, what you explain this to the university. That is a profile. So all of these aspects put together would be contributing towards the factors in the profile or the elements in the profile. So let's discuss the weightage given to each of these parameters. So 22% of the test scores, 22% of the weightage is given to the test scores, 19% to the academics, and 59% to the profile. When it comes to test scores, so your quant percentile would definitely have a certain weightage, which is higher than the overall weightage because um, nowadays, you must have heard of that US universities, they offer a program that is called as a STEM program, a program which has a component of science, technology, engineering, and mathematics. All right, so they are focusing on creating those kind of programs which are quant heavy, uh, which are definitely suitable when it comes to the recent requirements in the industry. Okay, so you would see that there is a use of analytics, there is a use of data science and business analytics in almost every function in the business. So that's why it is becoming very, very important for the universities to understand how well you are with your quant proficiency or the math component in your profile. Then comes the academics, where your undergraduate CGPA, the college that you're coming from, your majors and minors would play an important role. Then when it comes to profile, so your essay questions, your interviews, your recommenders, your extracurriculars, your length of work experience, your industry, your international experience, everything contributes towards the overall weightage of 59% in the profile. All right, and this is a survey that was done by a very renowned organization, that is Poets and Cons. So they did a survey a few years back, and this is an extract from that survey, which shows what is the kind of weightage that is given to each of these parameters. And thousands of students teachers, university deans, admission committee members, admission consultants were interviewed and surveyed for extracting this data. All right. And these are a list of few extracurricular activities that you can add up to your profile, which would certainly contribute towards your admission decision. So for example, if you have taken up some case studies, if you are taking up the right kind of projects, or maybe if you have written a research paper, that comes under co-curricular. Extracurricular is something where you have your deep interest as a hobby or maybe as a passion. For example, dance, music, theater, painting, anything of that sort. And obviously, having a passion towards something is not enough. You should have formalized your interest also. Formalizing your interest means like you either you would have created maybe a Instagram channel or a YouTube channel, or maybe you would have written some blogs. Like you would have to find some or the other way to let people know more about you, that you are having a deep interest in this particular area. Okay, so if you are able to convey this well to the audience or to the set of people around you, so obviously that would create a larger impact. And this is what the university want to understand in your application. You can definitely do a few internships offered by the central government or by the different ministries under the central government. And obviously, you can take up some social initiatives, some volunteering work at the NGOs or self-help groups. And obviously, that adds a lot of points to your application, because it shows that you're not only involved in your academics or into your job. So you have something in yourself to give back to the society. All right. That is what the university value a lot. All right. And if you've done any of these activities during your college and during your work experience, so that is termed to be excellent. And if you have done either of these activities, maybe any of these activities either in college or during your work experience, so that is an average thing. But if you haven't done anything during your college or during your work experience, so that is definitely a red flag. All right, so be a little mindful. You should have a complete package to present to the university. So it is important that if you haven't started off anything, do not start something new. Just explore within yourself what exactly you have done during your school, during your undergrad, and start building upon to that. All right, if you're right at the verge of submitting your applications or maybe creating your applications, starting anything new at this point in time is not going to help you. So explore only those kind of activities where you can build up on something that you have done in your past. All right. So here is about the GMAT exam. So it has 3 different sections: data insights, quantitative reasoning, and verbal reasoning. As you can see, 20 questions, 21 questions, and 23 questions respectively, for which you would get 45 minutes for each of these sections. All right. So GMAT is an exam which is a standardized test. It is an adaptive exam. So if you answer a question correctly, so the subsequent question is going to be of a higher difficulty level. And if you answer a question incorrectly, so the subsequent question is going to be of a easier difficulty level. So higher the difficulty, more marks you would get, and lower the difficulty, less marks you would get. All right. And here is the exam pattern for the GRE exam. GRE and GMAT, these are 2 different exams. So do not compare. And a lot of students think or feel that GMAT हो गया तो GRE भी हो जाएगा, या CAT हम कर रहे हैं तो GMAT भी हो जाएगा. Do understand this part. All of these exams are different from one another. There is nothing that is common between all of these exams. All right. So if you're preparing for, or if you want to prepare for any of these exams, go ahead with an exclusive program, not anything combo like CAT and GMAT both together. Go for a program which is exclusively either for GMAT or exclusively for GRE or exclusively for CAT or any other exam that you want to take. So in GRE, you would have again 3 different sections. One is an essay writing section where you'll have to analyze an issue, for which you would get 30 minutes. And followed by verbal reasoning, which would have 27 questions divided into 2 different parts. And similarly, quantitative reasoning would have 27 questions, which are divided into 2 different parts. So GRE is a sectional adaptive exam. That means if you answer the part A correctly, or most of the questions correctly in the part A, so part B would be for higher difficulty level. If you answer most of the questions incorrect in the part A, So part B would be of a lower difficulty level. So again, higher the difficulty, more marks you would get, and lower the difficulty, less marks you would get. All right. Now, let me walk you through a couple of case studies of our students who have actually made it to some of the top universities abroad or in India. So you would definitely feel and understand that what exactly it takes to get into any of these top universities, and how well you would have to craft your profile, or maybe how you'd have to uh, look into the admissions process, and what unique you would have to do to increase your chances of getting into these colleges. So what I'm doing is I'm posting a form link in the chat box. I would request all of you to please fill up this form, so that we get to register your interest if in case if you want to take a free one-to-one profile analysis session. All right, so that would definitely encourage us to connect with you on a one-to-one basis and help you with deciding your target colleges, deciding your path, that how you can actually uh, craft your journey to the top university. So I've posted the form link in the chat box. I'll wait for a minute, and I would request all of you to please go ahead and fill up this form immediately, and let's discuss the case studies going forward. All right. Thanks for filling up the form. I can see many responses there. And rest of you who haven't filled up the form, so you can please go ahead and fill up the form immediately. And let's move forward and discuss a few profiles. So this is one of the best profiles of our in like that we have mentored. So here's the profile of Ati Alok. So she was a student whom we mentored uh, in the last to last intake. She came from a hospitality background. Okay, so she did her BSc Hospitality and Hotel Administration from IHM Pusa, which is one of the top hotel management institute in India. All right, and she was working there as a chef de party. Okay, these are the key chefs or the head chefs, what we call it, at Taj Palace in New Delhi. Right, so she had a work experience of somewhere around 5.5 years at the time of her applications. The drawback or the flaw what we were able to find in her profile was that she had a low CGPA. She had a CGPA of only 7.6, all right, which is an average or a below average CGPA from the top universities perspective. All right, but during her work experience and during her undergrad, she took a few projects. She mentored a lot of students. She mentored a lot of junior chefs. Okay, which definitely highlighted her leadership ability of mentoring and training the people around her. All right. So the strengths in her profile was that she was coming from a diverse background. She was not from a background of an engineer, or maybe of maybe uh, a coming from a management background specifically. She was from hotel administration. All right. And she was a chef. Okay. So she had no corporate experience. The other good thing in her profile was that she prepared with Career Launcher for her GMAT, and she got a GMAT score of 760. All right. So she was following all the resources. She was taking our classes. She followed what the faculties suggested her, and she was able to score a whopping 760 GMAT score, which is around a 98 percentile on the GMAT Classic Edition. All right. And that is something that came out pretty well in her overall profile. So she was able to compensate her academic background through a high GMAT score. All right. And obviously, she had no corporate experience. So she did not work in the corporate, and she had absolutely zero corporate experience. But obviously, this is something that we worked upon, how to bridge that corporate experience gap. And definitely we helped her to pursue a few short-term programs, a few internships and projects, so that she can bridge that gap. And obviously we emphasized on the transferable skills that she had, the leadership ability, the mentoring ability that she has. And she applied to 3 schools with Career Launcher. And we applied to ISB, IIM Ahmedabad, and IIM Bangalore. And she was able to convert all the 3 universities where she applied. And she also even got a admit from IIM Bangalore with a scholarship. All right. Later, she joined IIM Ahmedabad. And just to share with you, she recently joined Axis Bank as an assistant vice president. All right. So from a chef to a banker. So this is the kind of transformation that she had in her profile. This is the kind of transition what she has taken in her life. So understand the kind of difference what an MBA program can create in your life also. All right. This is the second profile, another very, very interesting profile, Ridham Agarwal. So Ridham, she was studying economics honors from SRCC, Delhi University. And she had a very, very low CGPA. She had only a 6.9 CGPA. All right. But she was actively involved in a lot of public relation and the PR activities of the colleges. She was conducting college fairs. She was conducting college events. She volunteered in an NGO, and she interned at Yes Bank. She was actively involved in too many activities during her first year, in the second year, in the third year. And obviously she knew that, okay, this is something that she cannot learn by sitting in the class. She has to get out of the class, understand the industry, and understand how the work is being going on in the industry, and then only she'll be able to learn better. So this is what she did during her undergrad. And later she also prepared with Career Launcher for her GMAT, and she got a whopping 740 GMAT score. And this is what we highlighted in her applications also. Um, that she had a very good GMAT score. She has created some social impact. She had some internships and projects in her profile. And she had some work experience before she applied for an MBA. And later she applied at Duke Fuqua uh, for an MBA program, and she got an admit and with a $100,000 scholarship. All right. So that means she saved somewhat around 82, 83 lakhs in her MBA program. That is an excellent thing to definitely flaunt at Career Launcher, that we were able to help her enough to get into Duke Fuqua, which is one of the premier universities, premier colleges in the world, and that too with a whopping $100,000 scholarship. All right. So do understand, even if you have a low CGPA, so still there are a lot of components that you can add up to your profile, which would definitely contribute and would definitely increase and multiply your chances for securing an admission. Not only admission, but with a scholarship. All right. Another very interesting profile, Anisha Bahukhandi. Okay, she was a computer science grad from BITS Pilani. She had only a 7 CGPA in her profile. Okay, but she was again actively involved in the extracurriculars and co-curricular activities during her school, during her college, and during her work experience. Later, she got an opportunity of working with 3 top organizations. One was Grab Taxi in Singapore. Another one was Oyo in India, and she also worked with Google in US, California. And when she applied to her MBA program, she was working with Meta. She was working with Facebook at that point in time. All right. So she had experience of working with these FANG or MANG, whatever we call it, the organizations, and she definitely had created a lot of impact. And she was there in US. She had a US experience, international experience in her profile. So despite having a low CGPA, not coming from an IIT, but still she was working well. She had a lot of impact that she has created through her roles and responsibility. And she also prepared for GMAT exam, and she got a 770 GMAT, which is a very, very high which is a very, very high score with a 99 percentile. And this is what we emphasized when we applied to London Business School, and definitely she was able to secure an admission at London Business School. And she always had an interest of staying in London, working in London, but somehow she was not able to get that kind of an opportunity despite spending 4 years in US. So this is something that was missing in her life that she wanted to achieve. So later she applied to London Business School, and uh, she was able to get into LBS, which is ranked amongst the top 5 schools of the world. Right. And another profile, Visaya Bamba. So as you can see, she was again from Delhi University. She was an economics student with an 8.49 CGPA, which is definitely an average or above average CGPA. But she was actively involved in some research papers. Okay, so she had two different research papers in her profile, and she actively participated in some extracurriculars and co-curriculars during her undergrad, and she had no work experience when she applied for the MIM program. And she also prepared for GMAT, and later she applied to three different universities, that is ESCP, ESSEC, and ADEC, which are amongst the top 10 MIM colleges of the world. And she got an admit to all the three wherever where she applied, and that too with a 12,570 dollars euro scholarship. All right. So she saved another 12 lakhs for her MIM program. So understand, even if you have a low CGPA, that also works for you. If you have an average GMAT score, that also works for you. If you have no corporate work experience, that also works for you. So there is no single parameter that is going to make it or break it for you. All right. It is always about a complete package or a complete profile what you submitted to the university. All right. So it is important that you work on each and every aspect quite thoroughly, quite in detail, so that you're able to get the maximum weightage out of it. All right. And obviously, this is what we do as mentors. We help students to build their profile. We help students to shortlist their universities. We help students to craft their application so that we can uh, present that narrative to the ADCOM, that what exactly the student can achieve or the potential that the student has, which would definitely contribute towards the university and towards the fellow students or the peer batchmates in the university. So that is something that we do and we help students with. All right, so let's proceed forward and understand the 10 steps of getting into an MBA or an MIM program. So the first step is choosing the right fit choosing the right fit career option. So it is very important that you choose a career option which is wherever you think that you have an aspiration of getting into. Second is that you should understand the kind of skills which are required to fulfill that aspiration. Third thing is that you'll have to understand what are the external conditions which may impact this career option. For example, is it going to get impacted if maybe COVID returns? Is it going to get affected, for example, if government changes the policies? All right. Is it going to affect it, for example, if I do not get to stay back in that particular country? What if the immigration law changes, or maybe what if I do not get a work permit? All right. So do understand the external conditions. And finally, the global business demand. Is it a career option that is even in demand or not? So, for example, if you see that, okay, I want to become a painter in a country like India. Okay, India is a country which is definitely not known for the renowned painters that you would have in the world. All right, and obviously painting is not a mainstream career option in India. All right, so if you want to choose painting as a career option, so obviously you would find a place or maybe a city or a country wherever painting is definitely is valued higher than what it is valued in India. So you'd have to understand the global business demand and accordingly choose the right fit career option. Second is to set up your long-term and your short-term career goals. So long-term career goal is nothing but solving problems, and problems should not only be restricted to your own self. It should not only be restricted to your own organization. It should be an industry-wide problem that everyone else is facing if he or she is in the same industry. All right. So if you pick up one specific problem like this and find out the solution and present it to the universities that how you're going to implement the solution, given the right kind of skills that you will acquire from an MBA program. All right. So that is something which is going to be really advantageous in your application. All right. Second is your short-term career goal. Short-term career goal is nothing but the plan of action to achieve your long-term career goal. All right, skills that are required to achieve your long-term career goal. This is where it is important that you explain your roles, your responsibilities, your functional area, your target organizations, so that it clearly gives an idea that what exactly is the path of achieving your long-term career goal. So what kind of roles and responsibilities that you're going to take up, the skills that you're going to acquire through these roles and responsibility, and how exactly this is going to help you in solving a larger problem, right? So this is what the universities would expect from a candidate who is applying for a master's program. So they would expect a lot of maturity, that the candidate should have a clarity of what are the short-term career goals and what are the long-term career, right? And obviously it is driven by three important drivers. First is impact that you want to create. Second is the competence that you have in order to create that impact. And obviously the potential. Are you even willing to do that? Do you even have that potential to put in that kind of an hard work and time and efforts and energy what it is required? All right. So obviously accordingly, you'll have to see these growth drivers and accordingly shortlist your long-term and your short-term career goals. Third is to analyze your skill gap. So again, it would be driven by your growth drivers, as I said, and the skills that you have earned through your undergraduate degree, through your internships, through your jobs, and the skills that are required to achieve your long-term and your short-term career goals. So understand the functional area, the vertical skills, what you have acquired so far, and the kind of interdisciplinary or the horizontal skills that you would need. If you're very good with marketing, you should understand how marketing operates with finance, how it operates with HR, or how it operates with the other business functions. All right, that is where you'd be able to understand business and the management structure altogether. And that is something which is going to be helpful enough in order to become a good leader or a manager in your career. All right. Fourth is understanding and selecting the right program. And how would you be able to do that? Understand the course curriculum. So the curriculum which is offered by INSEAD for an MBA would be different from the curriculum offered by London Business School for an MBA. Okay, so you cannot uh, keep all the MBA programs in the same bracket. You have to understand that every MBA program is a different program, and which of these MBA programs is actually going to help me to bridge my skill gap. All right, so understand the curriculum and check the skill gap that you have. So universities would expect you to be at a certain level before you actually join an MBA, and accordingly they'll see that after completing that MBA program whether you would be able to achieve your career goal or not. So whether this program is suitable enough for you to pursue an MBA or an MIM. If yes, so then only they will find you a right fit candidate for that program. All right. So this is something that you'll have to finally decide, and the fitment or the selection would depend upon your course, your fitment for the program, your career aspirations, your profile, and the personal attributes of your profile. So if that matches, so obviously that makes a perfect match between the candidate and the university. Right? So that would definitely multiply your chances for securing an admission if it is a perfect match. Fifth is choosing the relevant exam. So now when you have the list of programs and list of colleges with you, it is important now you decide that which exam to take, whether it is going to be GMAT or GRE. And most of the universities, they have no bias between GMAT and GRE. Okay, they treat both of these exams equally. Check the admission requirements of the target B schools. Are they accepting both? And if you're confused whether to go ahead with GMAT or GRE, just go ahead and take a mock at mba.com or at ets.org. They offer free mocks. You just go ahead and take one mock and you'd get a fair idea wherever you find yourself more comfortable. Go ahead and start preparing for that particular exam. Sixth step is to build your essays, getting the screenplay right. All right. So use a top-down approach driven by your goals and the program of your choice. Then explain your entire story chronologically. Start from your undergraduation. Why exactly you chose that program? what are the kind of projects or internships that you've done during your undergrad. Then explain what kind of program that you want to go ahead with, how that MBA program is going to help you out in fulfilling your career goals. Then explain your work experience, your roles and responsibilities, how they have helped you to take your career forward in the right direction. And finally, how you are as right fit candidate for that particular university. So if you follow this chronological order, so that is something which is going to be impactful, and the reader would definitely be able to relate it better. Highlight your achievements or your struggle stories that you have in your life. Connect the instances, your pivot points in your journey. So if you are coming from a software engineering background and then applying for an MBA program, how you would be able to connect this these pivot points. All right. So it is important that you think and to work upon a story where you are able to highlight the facts that how well you will be able to solve some large business problems with the use of technology. So you know the technical aspects of it, you know how tech is going to work behind it, but you do not have the right managerial skills for which you're going for an MBA. So connect the dots. So that would make it a perfect story that you can explain this to the university that you're determined or you know what exactly you wish to pursue. Okay, this is not coming out of an accident, or maybe this is not coming out of because everybody else is going for an MBA. All right, this is a thought through decision what you're taking. Give examples, real ones from your work experience, from your projects, from your internships, anything what you have done. So give examples from your life, what exactly you're going to learn from an MBA program, and how you would be able to add value to the institution. What are the advantages that the university would get by selecting you as a part of their cohort? All right. Seventh step is to validate your claims, to getting the right recommendation. All right. So through your LOR, your institute validates your claim, whatever you have explained in your essays, in your SOPs. So the university is going to validate it. And a person who has worked with you directly, who knows you personally and professionally, would be a recommender for your profile. All right. So choose a recommender who can validate different aspects of your profile. Choose recommenders who have guided you as a manager or a superior. If possible, share and discuss your essays with your recommenders so that they get to know what exactly you are claiming in your application. And choose a recommender maybe who's at a senior position or who has created an impact in the industry. That would definitely work like a magic. But the caveat here is that the person should have worked with you. So for example, if I know CEO of my company, but I haven't worked with that CEO, okay, he does not know me directly. So obviously it makes absolute no sense of getting that person on board for a recommendation letter. All right. So if there is a person who has worked with me directly, should be the recommender in my profile. I get a lot of queries or I get a lot of questions around it that, okay, my papa knows an MLA or an MP or any of the ministers. So can he provide me an LOR? So that is a biased LOR. University would definitely get to know that. And if it is a biased LOR, that person has not worked with you directly. So that is not going to help you out in your applications. All right. So avoid choosing colleagues or alumni who have not worked with you. Understand the timeline. This is the step 8. So right now we are in November. So most of the students, what I'm able to find here is that they might be applying for the fall of 2025. That is for this August or September intake of 2025. So application submission timeline would be between September 2024 till Jan 2025. So there are only 2 months left for the fall 2025 applications. So you should get done with your GMAT or GRE scores latest by December. Your applications essays should be done by November or December. Your goal setting and university shortlisting should be done by November itself. And profile building or restructuring should be done by the end of this month itself. So that you put in your entire December month and some days of your January month in crafting your essays, SOPs, and LORs and submit your applications timely. So your consulting timeline would start from now and it will go until April of 2025. Ninth step is to prepare for the interview calls. So once you have applied to the university, once you have submitted your application, so now is the time when you actually start off with your interview preparation. So do prepare for the behavioral questions. For example, about yourself, connect with your personal qualities, how your friends, colleagues will describe you as an individual. All right. Explain your accomplishments or failures and how exactly you have maybe learned from your failures and from your maybe any lows that you have in your life. All right. Go through each and every component of your profile and your essays. Research about the B schools. How will you be able to add value to that B school? That is very important. So the university should understand that we would definitely get an advantage if we get you in our cohort. All right. So it is important that you emphasize on those facts where you will be able to contribute better towards the university. Research about your goals. You have to be firm with your goals. Do not keep changing your goals, whatever you have written in your essays and whatever you present in your interviews. Prepare and revise each and every component of your work experience and of your undergraduate degree. And practice answering the questions in the star format. So what is the star format? Where you explain a situation first, then you explain the tasks that you had in hand during that situation, and then what are the actions that you have taken to complete and to fulfill that task, and finally, what was the result out of it. All right. So if you explain a story through this format, so that would definitely come out pretty well. So that would give a definite a better closure to your answers. All right. And that would be definitely like helpful in your college interviews. Final step is to arrange your docs. Okay. Get your docs arranged ASAP. Do not wait till the last minute. Reach out to the colleges for scholarships, get rid of any credits or any loans that you have on your name, gather all the finances well in advance. Be crystal clear in your visa interviews. All right. Do not fumble or do not think a lot. Okay. Do not try to make up answers. That is not going to help you. Be crystal clear why you're going abroad, what exactly you're going to do on the in the university, what exactly you're going to do post completing your undergrad, and what are your plans related to coming back to your home country. So just keep your answers around these questions only. Do not try to make up answers or do not try to think a lot and then convey your answers. Uh, Try to get funding which is greater than your tuition fee and the living expenses. Do not only work on the tuition fee. A lot of students, they see or Google out things where they find that, okay, only the tuition fee is required to go abroad or to study at that particular university. But it is important that you should have funds arranged with you for your living expenditure also. Depending upon the location, depending upon the kind of expenses that you're going to incur on the necessities, and whatever the things that you might need to stay uh, there or stay abroad comfortably. So accordingly, you'll have to think over the expenses also. Reach out to the agencies that provide collateral free loans. And there are too many organizations which offer collateral free loans. And even at Career Launcher, we have 90% of the students who go abroad with the education loan. All right. So obviously we have some of these organizations working closely with Career Launcher. For example, Avance, for example, Prodigy, Empower, SDFC Credila. So these are the organizations which provide collateral free loan. They do not ask for any collateral. They just want your admit. They just want your credit history to be accurate, and they'll be more than happy to offer you a loan. All right. So at Career Launcher, we are pioneers in the test preparation for GMAT, GRE, and IELTS preparation. We have batch programs in a group program as well as the private tutoring. And we do provide admission consulting. And we have excellent consultants. We have people who bring in 20, 25 years of experience. They are top school grads. They have industry experience. They have mentoring experience of mentoring more than 1,000, 2,000 students in their entire lifetime. So obviously that is going to helpful. That is going to be helpful in your application journey also. So if you want a professional assistant, so definitely you can get in touch with the Career Launcher team and get yourself enrolled for a MBA consulting or MIM consulting or MS consulting or ISP consulting specifically. Now, when you have a new program for ISB, PGP, YL, so students who have 0 to 2 years of work experience can go ahead with an ISB admission consulting for PGP, YL, and students who have more than 2 years of work experience, they can go for the PGP admission consulting for ISB. We do consult the students for the Indian B schools also for their 1 year MBA program. All right. So accordingly, you can speak with our counselors. You can speak with our team members to understand which program would be better for you. And in order to do that, you can definitely book a free profile analysis session, and you can fill up the form that was shared in the chat box. And here are a few testimonials from the students whom we have mentored. Anisha Bhaukandi, she went to London Business School. Bibasu Das, who recently got into MIT Sloan with a $45,000 scholarship. Ritum Agarwal, going to Duke University with a $100,000 scholarship. And a few top admits for this year. Pratna Jain for HEC Paris, Ankit Gupta for INSEAD, Aditya for University of Cambridge, Riya Uppal for UCLA, Stramantini for NYU. Then we have Mansi Doshi for Cornell University. So we have admits from almost all the top universities across the globe. So obviously we are professionals. We take this process very, very seriously, and we evaluate the profiles first. We give you utmost clarity before you actually enroll for our consulting services. And once you get onboarded in our process, so obviously we take this process seamlessly. Right, so we have all the things and the entire program ready for the students so that it makes easier for you to do this along with your job or along with your studies, and you are able to optimize your time in a better way. So these are a few admits of the students who got into some of the top international B schools across the globe. For example, Yale, Carnegie Mellon, Columbia, Stanford, MIT, Manchester, EACP, NUS, Cornell, ISB, all of these top schools across the globe. All right, so here is my phone number. You can definitely reach out to me just in case if you have any questions. And I'm posting the form link again in the chat box. So if you want to book a free one-to-one profile analysis session with me or with any of our consultants at Career Launcher, do feel free to book a free session, and we'll be more than happy to provide you enough insights on your profile and how you can plan your journey. Now I officially conclude the session for today, and I would request if you have any questions, you can either unmute yourself or you can post in the chat box, and I'll be able to help you with all of your doubts. All right, so in the meanwhile, I can take the profiles that were shared in the chat box. So Kapil says that he has 87 in 10, 79 in 12, 62 in graduation, have 13 years of experience, 7 years in corporate India as a software engineer, 4 years as teaching faculty in non-profit organizations. Okay, that is fine. So your entire 13 years of work experience would be counted. And just in case if you wish to go for an MBA for a reason of getting into a corporate career, back to corporate career, so then I would recommend go for a 1 year executive MBA in India, or maybe a full-time global MBA program outside India. All right, I would not recommend you to look out for any part-time program, right? Because that won't give you enough networking opportunities, Kapil. So it is important that you get into a global MBA or a 1 year MBA program in India, depending upon your preferences. Sujit says 7.9 GPA in undergrad, BTech, ECE, 10 years of work experience in manufacturing and development. Okay. Again, Sujit, I would have to understand your purpose of going for an MBA at this point in time in your career. So if it is to maybe to get a better job or to maybe switch your functional area, so I would recommend go for either a 1 year full-time MBA program in India, or else you can look out specifically for a PGP Max program offered by ISB, because that is a program where you would have classes for 7 days in a month at the campus. The rest of the days it will be online. So accordingly, you get to taste the flavor of both of the in-campus study as well as the online study. And obviously, there are a lot of events that ISB conduct for the PGP Max student, and you'll be able to build up a network better than that. All right. All right, so I can see no more questions in the chat box. So you have my credentials on the screen. So just in case if you have any further doubts or queries, you can please put it in the chat box. All right, I have got a question. I'll be taking that question from Vansh. I'm pursuing my undergraduate degree BB first year at college in Indore. I want to take GMAT and IELTS exam, but I'm unsure in which year should I attempt them, and I will get my undergraduate degree by 2027. So once, regardless of you're in which year, you can definitely take your GMAT and GMAT or IELTS as early as possible. GMAT has a validity of 5 years. Okay, so even if you take maybe GMAT in the coming year in 2025, still your score would be valid till 2030. Okay, so don't worry about it. Start your preparation now. Give yourself enough time. Take the process easy, and maybe take your GMAT exam in next 6 to 8 months. Plan your GMAT somewhere in the month of May or June. All right, before your final year exams. So that would be the best case, and then you can start building up your profile for the final year and graduate in 2027. All right, and
Hi,
you
Deepak.
can take your IELTS in 2026, because IELTS has a validity of only 2 years. So accordingly, what with the IELTS exam? Yes, Om. Yeah,
Hi, hi.
yeah. Do you
So
have a
I
question?
just wanted to, yes, it will finish. So I'm a research student in ICT, I'm in chemical engineering in ICT, and I completed one research paper in a very good journal. So, but later I joined as a sales assistant, and then I'm working as a account management for sales. Like I'm driving the sales for in chemical industry. So, does that research work will be countable for as a good part of my profile, or it will be not?
Absolutely, Om. So if you have completed a research paper and presented it in a conference, so definitely that is going to be a great advantage. And if you're currently pursuing a chemical engineering, so my strong recommendation is that you go for either an MS in the subject where you want to take your career forward, predominantly chemical engineering itself. If you want to take a pivot towards anything else, so you can go for a master's in management program. So that would help you to understand management right from the basic level, from the fundamental level, and that would be helpful for you to establish the right managerial skills that you might need in order to progress well in the management career. So accordingly, you can
Okay,
look into that, and research is definitely going to get counted in your application.
if I work with some spiritual organization for 1 year or maybe more than 1 year, and if they are ready to validate that experience, like book
Uh,
distribution or meal distribution, so does it will count?
yes, that also count, but you're talking about as a volunteering experience or a full-time work experience as a job?
Volunteering.
Volunteering, definitely that would count. So you can definitely show this as a social initiative or a volunteering experience, and definitely that would count, and that would definitely have a weightage in your applications.
Oh, I have enrolled to CL for comprehensive, so we'll surely connect for a profile build. Thanks.
Absolutely, absolutely. Would be happy
It
to
was a
help you.
great session, Deepak. It was
Thank you
great
so
session.
much. Thank you so much.
Hello.
I have a question from Gunjan. I have 8 years of corporate experience. I was national player at sports. How much GMAT score I aim in order to get admission at top good schools? I've also done volunteering work, completed 250 plus hours. That is good enough. So I do not have any idea about your academics, Gunjan. So I presume if the academics are fine, if you have a decent CGPA, decent means an 8 and above CGPA in your undergrad, and if you complement that with a GMAT score of somewhere around a 675, so considering that, you would be able to target the top 25 to top 30 MBA programs the world. All right, so that is a ballpark figure what I would recommend you. But obviously, I need to gather more information about your profile to comment on that. But as far as the safe score is concerned, so it would be a 675 and above. All right, so that's all for today. I hope that I was able to add enough value in today's session. So looking forward to connecting with each one of you in my subsequent sessions and during the one-on-one profile analysis. So thank you all signing up. This
Yeah,
was
thanks,
Deepak
Deepak.
Agrawal.
Thanks.
All right. Thank you so much, Om. And thank you everyone for joining and spending our time on a Sunday evening. Thank you so much.